All right, 3, 2, 1. Cool. I think.
When?
Let's check that YouTube video out. Make sure we're here.
Yeah. All right. Koosh.
Yeah.
Where?
What do you mean where? Where what?
How do I change it?
I already did it. Go click virtual background.
Can you guys see that link is working?
I'll check right now, but I posted it to both my stories, so I hope.
Cool.
Someone's about to troll though.
Yeah.
Milk is gonna come in.
Ian, check it.
I know. You shouldn't have taken that picture. Yeah, Sam, it's working.
Working? Cool, I see it. All right, awesome.
It's like a 30-second delay, obviously.
Yeah, of course, that's fine. Let's center us, actually.
No, we want that.
What's going on, guys? I appreciate you guys joining us. As you can see, we're having, my first time using this new software, this new editing software. First time we're going live for Ballaholics, so welcome, guys, to the show. Again, first time going live for Ballaholics. Super excited. We got you. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sam Israel. Once again, we have Ian Mills on the show, and we got some special guests because we're joined by the one and only Koosh. We got Brandon, and we're actually also joined, besides all of our college friends at Binghamton University, we are joined by one of my good friends from my hometown, from Springfield University, Eric Bellier.
Springfield College.
Springfield College. I'm sorry,
University College. No, you're good. College. What's going on, brother?
All right, guys. So we got an amazing crew today. We got 5 of us. So I just want to say for you guys watching on YouTube, we appreciate you guys watching us. Leave your questions on the comments in YouTube on the live chat. We got a lot we're gonna talk about today. First off, we gotta talk about this Dononvan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert feud. I don't know where you guys stand, but whose side are you guys on? Who wants to start? Whose side are you guys on?
That's easy. I don't want a guy with damn corona touching me all the time. Why would I want that? It's easy. I'm on Mitchell's side. At the end of the day, Gobert's good. Defensive player of the year. I'd say top 3 center in the league, top 3 big man in the league. But you can't be doing that. And Mitchell, at the end of the day, you can move Gobert and Mitchell be Mitchell. If Gobert doesn't have that around him, then I think he's a different ball player. But it to me, it was definitely Mitchell. Mitchell's 100% in the right. You can't be doing that and Gobert's being like, yeah, all right, I don't have it, and then turns out that he has it and got the whole team sick. So Mitchell is the leader of that team. Mitchell is the star of that team, and he has every right to be pissed. I'd be in the same boat as him if it were me.
I mean, yeah, I get why Dononvan Mitchell is upset. I totally do. I mean, Rudy Gobert acted selfishly and childishly, and we all know that at this point. But at the time, obviously it was a serious thing, but I don't think people were taking it as seriously.
Yeah, it was a meme, yeah.
It was a little bit kind of a meme, but that being said, that doesn't justify Rudy Gobert's actions. But to say that their relationship is beyond repair because of this, I think is a little much. I mean, there was a report saying that Dononvan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert's relationship is beyond repair, and if that's true, if that's true, it makes me think that there was something that happened before this. This was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, because this is a serious thing. Obviously, we know that, but it's not like he did it on purpose. He probably actually thought he didn't have it. So again, I get why Dononvan Mitchell feels this way. I would assume it's something happened prior to make him feel so strongly about this, but I do kind of feel for Rudy Gobert because I feel like he wasn't the only one who wasn't taking it seriously. He just
if you write anything on your computer, you need to get Grammarly.
I write pretty much all day, every day, and Grammarly makes my writing better.
As a student, I like that it's
Well,
free.
I mean,
Actually is
Right,
correcting
yeah,
everything
but, like,
as I'm writing
also,
it.
like,
Grammar
it's
errors,
grown,
spelling
like,
errors.
he didn't really,
It
like,
even helps me find the right words to
get it or
use so I
anything,
can say
because
what
you
I
can't really
want
blame
to say.
anyone for that
It catches
matter,
all those embarrassing
It's
little
what it
mistakes
is.
before I
At
have
that time, I feel like anyone.
I downloaded
got to that
Grammarly
extent, but
around my
basically
freshman
everyone
year
didn't think
because
it
I
was
was just
really
horrible at
big
typing.
deal.
Grammarly is like my secret
I mean, I
weapon
want to say
for
this.
writing
Let me
papers.
just get in
It's the
real
perfect
quick.
tool for your
I want
resume.
to say
You
that
don't want any errors when it's your
obviously
first
I think
impression.
that
I
Rudy
use
Gobert
Grammarly
should
for
take it a
important
lot more
emails,
seriously.
social media
But at
posts,
the
which there
time,
are
like,
a lot
I
of.
feel like
I've
no one
used every
really
tool
knew
out there,
how
and
bad it was going to
Grammarly
get.
is by
So
far the
like, let's
best
say like
for
in March
improving
1st,
your
like the
Grammarly's
NBA
making me
didn't
a better
release a
writer.
memo regarding the
And it's
coronavirus
free.
at
I
all
would
until
recommend
March
Grammarly
1st,
if
and
you're
that
a
was literally
student.
My
just to tell
family,
them,
My
tell
peers,
NBA
my
players,
colleagues.
not
It's
to,
like having your
not
own
to touch
personal
fans and no
proofreader
fist bumps.
for free.
So like, like I
Download
feel like
Grammarly for
obviously
free at
what he did was
Grammarly.com.
childish, it was immature, and it was insensitive. But at the end of the day, like Rudy Gobert showed remorse. He donated $500,000 to the cause. I feel like it's tough, and I'm just trying to humanize Dononvan Mitchell here because
120,000 New Yorkers live in nursing homes. In these difficult times, we must stay at a distance while our loved ones are cared for by frontline nursing home staff. But access to personal protective equipment is running low. And to keep New York's most vulnerable population healthy, nursing homes need more masks, more gloves, and more gowns. The stakes are high. Tell Washington to deliver nursing homes the protective equipment they
I think
need.
it was inevitable, though. I think it would inevitably have happened. And
I mean,
the thing is, I don't blame Dononvan Mitchell for wanting to get out of Utah, just because he's a star that is bigger than
I'll take him.
Salt Lake City. Yeah, exactly. I mean, any team in the league would say, "Hey, you know what? That's a great guy." If I'm the Jazz, though, it would make way more sense to trade Rudy Gobert than Dononvan Mitchell, just because from a player's perspective, but also from a fan's perspective, where Dononvan Mitchell is going to draw a crowd more than Rudy Gobert would.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be hard for them to trade Dononvan Mitchell unless he really forces their hands.
But they'll get way more for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Because listen, if for example, using the Knicks as an example,
Eric, man, you know what? I love my Knicks, man. You don't gotta bring up my Knicks. Ian does it all the time. Just take it easy on us.
I'm a Knicks fan too. Both picks that we got from in the Porzingis deal, see ya. Mitchell Robinson, see ya. I would give that's the only guy in the whole Mitchell, and anybody of that tier is the only way I'd give up a young guy like Mitchell.
I think if Mitchell, Donovan,
I mean, or Mitchell Robinson, yeah.
Mitchell Robinson,
okay,
yeah.
Mitchell, if you're Donovan, I mean, if Donovan Mitchell is like voices his concern and says that he wants to leave, I don't know if they're going to be able to even get that much from him. Only because like if you look back at the history, like when Jimmy Butler in Chicago was like, I want to leave, the Timberwolves only went down 9 spots and lost Zach LaVine, who obviously we see is like a borderline all-star player. I think he actually did make the all-star team this year. But my point is like, that was kind of a young guy. And I guess Jimmy Butler is a little bit older, but similar value to where he was a couple years ago, where Donnovan Mitchell is now. So if Donnovan Mitchell really voices concern and like basically demands a trade, I think they actually even get less than that.
For who? For Mitchell?
I'm talking about. You were saying 2 firsts and in Mitchell Robinson.
I mean, at the minimum, 100%. He's a top 10 player in the league right now, 100%.
But I would say if it's just like if it's just a random trade, sure. But if he's making it known that he wants to leave, I don't know that they'll get more than that, because if you look back.
But I mean, look at what the Knicks got for Porzingis, and he made it known he wanted to leave.
Yeah,
I mean, real quick. True. I just want to chime in real quick. In terms of the Knicks wanting to get Donnovan Mitchell, I don't foresee a scenario where the Jazz trade Mitchell. I think that they would first opt to trade Rudy Gobert, and then Eric, to your point, I don't understand why they would even want Mitchell Robinson if they were to trade Donnovan Mitchell, because then they would just have a loaded front court. They would have Rudy Gobert and Mitchell Robinson, and
blow it up. If they're gonna do it, blow it up.
So if you're the Jazz, you're trading both of them. You're trading Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
Blow it up. If they're gonna trade Donnovan Mitchell, blow it up. Because Gobert on its own is the blind leading the blind. Because if they were more of a team like what Denver is, that's just deep, then you could move one of them and be fine. But this is a very top heavy team with Mitchell and Gobert at the top with a bunch of accessories, I guess, replaceable parts that you can get rid of every 2 years and fill those guys in. So if I were them, if they're going to trade Mitchell, then you ought to blow it up. But I think their first instinct would be to move Gobert. But, if they want to get the most bang for their buck, that's when they move Mitchell.
Kush, what do you think?
I agree with the sentiment. I also think that this is just like a travesty, and we can work better to.
Kush, you're not talking about the coronavirus anymore.
Sorry, I don't follow. What were you saying?
Pooch, do you want the Knicks?
Sorry,
Do you want the
cutting off a
Knicks?
little bit.
Pooch, do you want the Knicks to trade for Dononvan Mitchell?
I mean, yeah,
If-
I think that like Dononvan Mitchell, I think that we should trade for him. I think this is a good time to take him because listen,
I'm listening.
as he has been afflicted by the corona, everyone's losing hope in this man. But he
Nope.
still has a skill set to participate.
Guys,
And
get your
if
man.
he
Koosh,
makes it, we can
Koosh,
take him that.
Let me just say it first. You're one of my favorite human beings on the planet. I just want to say that, Koosh. Let me say something else real quick. I think that this whole thing, there's no sides. Mitchell's fault and Gobert's fault. No, it's the media's fault, I feel like, in my opinion. I think right now, there's nothing to report on, and I think that the media right now, they're trying to create narratives just to get viewership. I think that Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, I think they're gonna, they'll be fine. The relationship is not, they're saying it's not salvageable. I just think that's ridiculous.
I feel like everything's gonna blow over.
This is the same case, but here's the thing: Mitchell's not refuting it.
That's true.
Well, didn't
Mitchell's
Mitchell
not saying
there was a report a couple days ago, I thought, where Dononvan Mitchell said the relationship is not perfect, but it's gonna work. It's bearable.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, listen. Who was it? The guy that slept with LeBron's wife or LeBron's mom, Delonte West. Yeah, I mean that was a fixable thing too, right?
Who was that?
It was
Wait, there's
Delonte West.
There's a huge difference between.
No, but you get what I'm saying. They
That
were
was
still
fake,
able to
too.
play. So at the not fake. So at the same time, if they could deal with that, then I mean these two can get over it. But I mean, this is the same situation if you put it into the football world why Odell was traded from the Giants. This is the media. Paul Schwartz, who's a writer on Twitter, who I'm fine with the Odell trade now in retrospect, but I curse to this day because he's such a biased writer who gets his names out there just to get his name out there and to get clout. And you know what? The media in New York, if I played in Utah and I was complaining about this, I wouldn't even say a word because the media in Utah compared to the media in the big cities, New York, Chicago, Boston, it's night and day, so this is only the media's fault to an extent where I think, you need to get these two kids locked into a room and let them fight it out.
So I was just looking at it online and yesterday Mike Conley was on ESPN, who obviously is on the Jazz after he won the horse championship, which mind you was a horrible thing that ESPN did, and I don't know why they ever thought that was a good idea, but mind you, I digress.
What's wrong with horses?
Shut up, Sam. Mike Conley said that their relationship is fine, and I'm sure he's he could just be saying that, but I don't know. I feel like they'll get past this. It's just something for people to talk about, probably.
This is I mean, the only thing that we've had to look forward to is the NFL draft now.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. That's one of our later segments.
So creating some buzz like this is good for. I mean,
yeah,
people around it, I guess.
All right, guys, we got to get moving. Do you guys have any more final thoughts before we move on to our next segment?
I was just gonna say one last thing was like the whole media buzz. I don't know if you guys saw the other day Jay Glazer saying that he has huge, groundbreaking news, and it was just like that an NFL player had coronavirus and then got cured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Von Miller has it.
Von Miller has now, but he reported that it was like a center for the Rams.
All right, guys.
Who had it 3 weeks ago.
We're not with football yet. We're not with football yet.
I'm just saying, but like just the whole media buzz. Yeah.
I got you. All right, let's go on. I think that the Dononvan Mitchell feud and the Rudy Gobert, I think that it's overblown. I think we're all in agreement to that somewhat, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Let's go on to our next segment. We're still sticking with the NBA for now. Right now, we're actually throwing it back. Right now, we're all going to debate in our opinions, our greatest NBA duo in the past decade, in the 2010s. So, which one of you guys wants to start? I have a lot to say, so I'll leave it to one of you guys first.
Chris Duhon and Nate Robinson. Totally kidding. Someone go.
I mean, I can start if you want. I'll start if you want. Okay. I'm going to break it down to you guys like this, okay? So, I feel like, obviously, like, everyone's going to say, a lot of people will say LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. And they're amazing. When LeBron joined the Big Three in Miami, they won back-to-back titles in 2012 and 2013. But for me, they lost. They had a lot of close calls. So, for example, in 2013, they almost lost to the Indiana Pacers in 7 games. It was close. going to the finals. They almost lost to the Spurs that year. They were saved by Ray Allen's shot and Chris Bosh's rebound. Shout out to Chris Bosh.
They lost to Dallas.
In 2013.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they lost to Dallas in 2011. So, like, for me, when I'm looking at the greatest duo, I'm looking at the dominance. Now, if you go to Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, like, think about this. Kevin Durant was an MVP in 2014. That was followed by Steph Curry, 2015 and 2016. So they had 3 MVPs in a row from 2014 to 2016. And then in the next year, Kevin Durant joined that 73-win team. And once Kevin Durant was on that Golden State team, they were indestructible. They were, like, invincible, I felt like. They, like, set the record for the most wins in the NBA. Well, not the most wins, but the best record in the NBA playoffs at 16-1. And also set a record for the longest playoff streak of 1 games at 15 games in 2017. They won back-to-back titles, obviously. And I think that if Kevin Durant was not injured in 2019 last year, they're definitely winning that. So I think you have to look at the dominance of an NBA duo. I think Steph Curry and KD, there's an argument to be made that they were a lot more dominant than LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
I mean, the first guy that you said I have with you is Steph. You know, Steph is a guy that you know I think is going to go down as one of the greatest players of our generation. Now, with that being said, I have a little twist on what you said. Is I took somebody that didn't come into a front runner team like what KD did and joined a 73-win team and said, "Oh, we're going to dominate now." I'm taking a guy in Klay Thompson who's been there with Steph since they were both drafted. I think Klay and Steph together have been, you know, I personally think the championships they won before Durant came, they don't win without Klay. You know, Klay brings. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a clip where he scored in the finals. I think he scored 40-something points once with dribbling the ball like 7 times.
Yeah.
Like Klay brings something that you need on a team. Just like what Ray Allen brought to Miami. You know, because without Ray Allen, Miami doesn't win that championship that year. I think without that extra scorer in Klay, I think there's a lot more close calls if it's just Durant and Curry, for example. Mine. I mean, yeah, you could say Wade and LeBron and whatever, but I think Klay and Steph are the two that you have to look at and say they stuck it out through the lean years and they came in and they dominated when it was time for them to dominate.
I agree too.
Yeah, if you go back to all the championships of this decade, the most dominant, I guess not the most dominant, I guess the best finals win by a duo by far is and again, I know it was only 1 year, but by far is Pascal Siakam and Kawhi Leonard. I'm not saying they're the best duo of the last decade, but I'm saying they had the best season as a duo. Because if you look at I'm being serious. Look at the rest of the champions of this decade, they were all trios. And the only really case you can make for any of them is obviously the Dirk, which was kind of a fluke, and then if you want to say Draymond Green wasn't a part, you know, I guess that was just a duo, but at the same time, they were beating a defeated Cavs team before KD got there. But again, with Pascal Siakam and Kawhi, they beat a team that was seen as invincible. Obviously, KD didn't play in that series, but they were still seen as invincible and beat them in 6 games. And again, I know Pascal Siakam isn't like a superstar yet, but he's damn near close to one. I know I can see Sam's revving up, but Sam's gonna be like so, Jeremy Lin.
You know what I love about you, Ian? So like
1 year. Wait, hold on. 1 year doesn't change.
I'm just saying they had by far the most dominant season.
Ian, you could have said like Paul George maybe in 2013. You could have said LeBron and D Wade. You could have brought up Dirk Nowitzki. You could have even brought up Tim Duncan and Kawhi Leonard back in 2014. But no, you bring up Pascal Siakam and Kawhi Leonard, man. Unbelievable.
I'm just trying to
Or how about James Harden and CP3? I feel like I can name, numerous duos that were better than Pascal Siakam and Kawhi Leonard.
That would beat the Warriors in 6. That would beat the Warriors in 6
without Klay Thompson for a game, and without KD.
And KD.
That's ridiculous.
It was 1 year, and like
I'm not saying the most dominant. I'm just saying
1 year. Now, then what was the point of saying it then?
No, I'm just saying if you're gonna say the most dominant season, they would be them. I guess
we're not saying a season. We're saying
if you're gonna pick a duo, I mean, yeah, I guess probably the right pick would be with Steph with either KD or Clay, but you guys already said that, so I'm just going with a little bit.
Let me just say this, Ian, for you. So I get what you're saying. So like, let's just say my definition of a greatest duo, I did like the amount of years that you were dominant. But let's just even bring it just to one season. So let's just say we get to close it to one season. Even if you do it to one season, I still don't believe that Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam had a more dominant playoff run than Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. They went 16-1 in the playoffs in 2017, and they set the record for the longest playoff streak. I think that just says enough.
Okay, but with that team, I mean, you had multiple all-stars on the team rather than just the two of them. Whereas I think maybe Kyle Lowry made the All-Star team that year, but he was seen in the finals. He was a scrub. I mean,
it wasn't a scrub. Fred VanVleet, baby, my boy.
VanVleet was very
my
good.
boy.
Very good.
but still, the thing is if you look at, I think the biggest thing is you also have to look at the guys that stepped up on that team during that. Like I just said, FVV played the best basketball of his career, which led him to a big-time contract. Siakam, that was the year Siakam became what he is now, which is only a year ago, right? Yeah, a year ago. So it's like, if it was 5 years, maybe, but like
the only problem I have, so with all other answers, right? They're not duos; they're in threes. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm talking about of that have won championships. Des, what are you saying?
But they only won one.
Chemistry aspect. That's what a majority of the duo should be.
Ian, let me say this. I have another thing I could say. Okay, if you separate Steph Curry and KD, they can both be the number one option on a championship contender. If you separated Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam, do you believe that Pascal Siakam can be a number one option on a championship contender?
No, it's not the question. What I'm getting at is right. So if you put
how's that not the question?
If you have the same exact team, but you have KD and Steph on a team, and then just like 8 scrubs, and then you have Pascal Siakam and Kawhi with 8 scrubs, yeah, KD and Steph would win that 9 times out of 10. But what I'm getting at is the fact that KD and Steph also had Klay Thompson and Draymond.
No. So just because you have a good depth disqualifies you from being a great
right.
duo?
Well, either way, yeah.
You're disqualified just because you have a good depth. You have good bench depth. And a good team around you.
Not a duo. It wasn't a duo. It's like a trio. Is what I'm getting at.
But you're looking at longevity, most dominant of the decade.
If you're saying most dominant of the decade, really, if you're looking at most dominant of the decade, probably, if you just look at straight out wins, if you want to say Chris Bosh isn't in that trio, which is an argument made, LeBron and D would make that sense, but you also
Bosh is the top 10 power forward in the history of the NBA.
He's underrated, I believe.
The same thing can be said is like, well, if you consider Draymond a part of that, you consider him a part of that big.
Draymond's trash.
Now, real quick,
but during the championship years, he wasn't.
Real quick, I want to get Brandon in here because I feel like we haven't heard Brandon talk. Brandon, what do you think?
What's up? Oh, what would you say? I think a large part of it is chemistry, and that's why I think Steph and Clay is the right pick, because I don't think there's anything else. It has a lot to do with chemistry.
That's right. So you and Eric both seem to believe.
Even had a lot of problems. Also, they both wanted the ball a lot.
But it was different though. That's why I took them, right. If you look at what, for example, they're both ball hungry, but they're both ball hungry in different ways. Where Clay can touch the ball 20 times a game and take 17 shots and be fine. That, like, I'm going to use a Nick example again. What the whole Stat and Melo situation was that Stat was a power forward hungry for the ball, and Melo was a 3-4 guard or forward combo where he needed the ball at all times. He was a point forward where they were both wanting to get their 25-30 shots in a game. Curry and Clay create opportunities for themselves in their own ways, whether it's Clay getting open, Steph making somebody look like a fool. They do it to themselves, where Clay is the carbon copy example of what an NBA swingman should be.
I just want to say real quick also, we got some comments in the YouTube video, so I just want to say appreciate you guys, commenting. Anna, what's going on? Money Chaser, thanks for commenting. Great show, we appreciate it. Definitely, I think in the response to Eric and Brandon with Steph and Clay over Steph and KD, like, I understand that Clay is great and all, but dominance. So, like, in 2016, if they would have beaten LeBron, like, they won 73 wins. If they would have beaten LeBron James's team, then you have an argument. But I feel like there's no argument because when you have KD we put KD into the equation.
73-9.
What did I say?
What's that?
What did I say?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best regular season team of all time. And
exactly. It's great. But what they do in the playoffs? What happened?
Yeah, but they went 3 years. What was it? 3 years in a row without KD, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but then also won 2 chips.
Right, they did. Yeah.
So I'm thinking. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, if you're taking Draymond out of the equation, he's not in the trio, then yeah, I mean they would probably be the most dominant. Just because because KD and Steph were together for what, 3 years? I could be wrong. I mean,
KD and Steph were together. I have it right here. I think it was 2 or 3. Or Steph.
It was 2 years.
Yeah, Steph.
They only won 1 championship.
Yeah, right. Because they lost last year.
I mean, I don't know.
Koosh, what do you think?
Yeah, thanks for unmuting me.
I was muting because I heard some ruffles in the background, so I was just muting you for everyone else, for the sound. But let's hear you talk.
Okay, so I agreed with with LeBron from your part of your team for duo. I agree with LeBron, but I also think that if we're talking generally speaking, I think that LeBron is honestly best with Kobe Bryant.
They didn't play together, Koosh.
Ooh, guys.
I think generally speaking, overall, they would make the best duo. They would be dominant. They would kill on the court.
Koosh, some food.
Koosh, who's the best G League duo in the 2010s?
All right. So for the G League, I haven't been keeping track of it, but I believe that Ian can speak on my behalf.
Yeah, wait, Koosh.
So,
Ian,
man.
Some food for thought, right? So before, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, but right before Kobe Bryant retired, Kobe and LeBron teamed up and decided to take on Kevin Knox and RJ Barrett. And RJ Barrett and Kevin Knox won 21-3. So are you really gonna say they're a better duo than Kevin Knox and RJ Barrett right now?
I think
you guys kill
that they are a better duo. Even though RJ Barrett is one of my favorite players, personally speaking. All right, but I still think that objectively that they make a better duo.
All right,
you made me upset, guys. You bring up my Knicks, you bring up my Kevin Knox, you bring up my RJ Barrett. Man,
he's a Knicks fan too.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 people in this chat are Knicks fans.
Yeah, we're done. We actually got a question. We got a question on our YouTube video asking all of us who we would consider to be the greatest duo of all time. So, what do you guys say to that? What are your greatest duo of all time?
It has to be Jordan and Pippen, right?
Yeah, Jordan and Pippen.
Maybe Shaq and Kobe.
Yo, quietly,
no, I don't believe so.
Quietly, you have to consider Stockton and Malone. And you
also
have
to championship though. They constantly got outplayed by Jordan.
I mean, Melo's one of the best players of all time. He never won a championship.
Wait, but how about Jordan and Scottie Pippen?
That's what he just said.
I think we're all in agreement. I think that there's no answer there, guys.
And then no, hold on. One that's very overlooked because I think they only won 1 title together. But Robinson and Dave Robinson and Duncan. Look at what they did together, man.
I mean, they were very dominant for the span they were together.
Yeah, I think they were together 5-6 years, and they won 2 chips, I think.
Guys, I think the closest argument to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, it's the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Dominance. That's my argument.
They won 1 chip.
David Lee and Chris.
Not 1 chip. They won 2 chips, and they almost had 3. If Kevin Durant wasn't injured.
Almost.
Now MJ and Scottie Pippen, they're dominant, obviously, but
you just don't think about that. There's no huge chemistry, no bond.
When you think of duos, they're not a duo. They're
Kobe.
Of course they are.
They had a huge chemistry.
Team. They had 4 All-Stars, and Boogie wasn't. I guess he wasn't an All-Star.
Boogie.
He didn't really play.
You gotta bring up Boogie.
Boogie.
Talking about.
Talking about
Boogie's
the
whack.
Okay, yeah.
Boogie's the most overrated Sacramento King of all time. Changed my mind.
I mean, yeah, probably. There's been
Poor
like
Kings. You hit a spot with Ian. You're getting Ian upset. Don't do that.
Yo, but if there's one that I think seriously would be behind Pippen and Jordan, it has to be Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would agree with that.
That it's almost like I don't really know. I mean, they brought in Horace Grant. They had Rick Fox for a little bit, but like no real big time players around him for a while.
I like Stephen KD.
Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain. Obviously,
Wilt, yeah.
60. I mean, again, they won what was it, 2 championships when Wilt was there, but they were arguably the two best players in the league. You know, I mean, Bill Russell was there, and was that before Kareem? Yeah, I mean, he might have actually been in the league then. But I mean, you know, Magic and Kareem, though they were kind of, that was at the later of Kareem's career, so probably not them. But I mean, I think we all can agree Jordan and Pippen are
easily. Easily.
All right, I think we got there. I think we're all in agreement that Jordan and Pippen were the greatest duo in NBA history. We got to go on from the NBA. We got to keep moving. Let's talk about the NFL. The NFL draft is already upon us. What do you guys think about the NFL draft? I'm specifically looking at Eric and Ian because I know you guys follow the NFL greatly, and so have you, Brandon, as well.
Herbert's the quarterback of the draft.
I disagree with that. But again, it's really with the draft and the quarterbacks, it's gonna really depend on where they go to. And
are you a Tua guy?
I am not as strong on Tua as a lot of people.
Okay.
You know who I like?
Is the kid from Utah?
Yeah, Utah State, Jordan Love. Okay, look, if you look at his numbers, it's very they weren't great this year, but obviously he had his entire offense leaving, new head coach, all this crap, right? And they
going to Utah State. That's
going to Utah State, right? But even before that year, he had an insane year. I think it was like 35 touchdowns, like 10 picks at Utah State, which is amazing. But look, if you look at him, I'm not saying he's gonna be Mahomes, but if you look at him and Mahomes coming into the draft, they have both very, very similar. Not just attributes, but like everyone was saying that, you know, they make bad decisions. They threw too many picks. You know, they're kind of like Brett Favre. We're just kind of like a gunslinger. Just throw the ball downfield and close your eyes. But the arm strength is there. The physical attributes are there. He has shown that when he can make great decisions, he's a very, very, very good quarterback with limited talent on his team. Because obviously Utah State is not getting even 4 stars, maybe not even 3 stars. But mind you, so I think with him, he'll probably go late first. You know, if he goes to the Saints at 24, or they trade down even more and get him, you know, late in the first, and sit him behind Drew Brees,
he might be. I think he's going to be late first, like as late as you can get, or first couple picks in the second.
Yeah, he won't go before the 23rd pick. I don't think any team will take him before the Saints would take him at 24. But that being said, I mean, I'm more excited about him than I am about probably Herbert and Tua.
I'm excited for Herbert. If Herbert didn't have a down year last year, I think Herbert would have been my guy at 6 for the Giants. My thing is with Tua is he name me, and this is what I've said to all the Tua stands. Name me a lefty quarterback since Michael Vick who has been good in the NFL. You can't, because there hasn't been any.
Mark Brunell was before him.
Right. Well, I mean, no, seriously.
No, I mean, well, what lefty quarterbacks have really come in?
Vince Young.
Other than Kellen, what's the guy? The Cowboys offensive coordinator, Kellen something or other.
Oh yeah.
With the Boise State, you know who I'm talking about. He was
not Kellen Winslow. No, I know what you're talking about. But Vince Young too, but like still, lefty quarterbacks in the NFL have never worked out since Michael Vick.
Well, I just don't know how many there been. I mean, Steve Young and Mark Brunell are the only ones who stand out to me as like.
And Young had 2 good years, right?
No, he was an MVP. He's a top 10 quarterback probably in the NFL history. That being said, he could
Vince Young.
I thought you were Steve Young. I was saying
no,
Vince Young. Steve Young.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Steve was lefty. Steve Young was lefty. He was.
Yeah, but since Vic, right, there hasn't been anything. Plus, sure, modern health technology is a difference, but this is the same injury that Bo Jackson had into and for a quarterback that's going to go into a system where in presumably Miami or or San Diego, LA, whatever you want to call it, that have shaky running back positions. I think Eckler's a one-year wonder type of player. And Miami's offense is a work in progress. They have a sneaky wide receiving core, but both offenses are gonna rely on the quarterback to run. And Tua getting hurt the way he did and on what he got injured on, I just don't see him being able to be that quarterback for longevity purposes. Look what happened to Mariota.
Tua for LA, I actually like, because Tua, again, we can say the injury concerns. And obviously, it's hard. There hasn't been many examples of good left-handed quarterbacks since Mike Vick and Mark Brunell or whatever, Steve Young. But if you look at, Anthony Lynn, they got Tyrod. I mean, Anthony Lynn is one of the best running game coordinators. Obviously, he's the head coach, but running game coordinators ever. I mean, he's with Tyrod. He had the best running game for, I think it was like 3 straight years. With Tyrod and LaShawn McCoy. And I'm not saying Austin Eckler is on LaShawn McCoy's level, and Tyrod obviously isn't as good as he was with the Bills. But that being said, I low-key feel like it's if Tua sits in LA for a year, LA, gets better offensive linemen, can actually protect him. I think that in a year or two, if he's able to rehabilitate and actually, become healthy, become a quarterback that can play 16 games in the NFL, I think he could be good. But again, I don't expect him. Like, I feel like if the Chargers would be the perfect scenario with him, because I feel like he just won't play much this
Well, he's
year.
also going to a stacked receiving core.
Yeah.
Right.
He's coming from one too. He's coming from one going to another. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I know like you guys are skeptical of Tua, but like I feel like in the past, haven't there been a lot of QBs that have, had injury questions, aka Drew Brees, and then they turn out to be fine? I feel like the teams that roll the dice.
Brees got hurt in the NFL though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Brees was proving himself, and then he had a freak situation, and the Chargers jumped the gun.
But before the injury with Tua, like he was dominating, like and he's playing in this SEC. Like that's a really, you're playing against a lot of future NFL players there. It's a strong conference. And
Tua, it's been multiple occasions of it happening, with like his ankle injuries the previous year. But again, I'm still
the ankle injuries happen. He ended up playing in the national championship, but still, he was a shell of himself.
Right. I still am very high on Tua. I think the only thing that really concerns me is the injuries, and the fact that he is coming from a situation that, with amazing receivers, and I mean that's really my only concern. But I feel like he is a good enough product. He's a good enough player to come in. And I think he just probably has to sit for a little bit, at least, behind Tyrod, learn how to become an NFL quarterback. I think.
Yeah, but with the thing with sitting him is if you sit him, and in San Diego has a top 5 defense in the league this year. If he does end up at 6 in San Diego's defense is absurd, absolutely absurd. And if you're gonna sit him a year with this team is in win now mode, and your other quarterback option is Tyrod Taylor, you can't justify that. It's different in the Giants case because look at what they did with Daniel Jones and Eli. Look, Eli wasn't going anywhere. Number one, I mean, it is what it is. And number two, the team was nowhere near ready to compete last year.
I disagree a little bit, only because if you want to compare it to the Giants, right? The reason Eli Manning was benched was because that team was it was a really bad team, and the fans were just like, we need to win, right? So then after the Bills game, they bench Eli, and he comes in Tampa Bay and they win, right? With the Chargers, if they have a good surrounding around Tyrod that they can kind of carry him in spite of him, and they win, even if they don't go, 10-6 or whatever. Obviously, I mean, I don't think they'll go into 6, but I'm saying even if they don't, I mean, as long as they're winning, I feel like fans that.
Here's a question that I feel like, even though I think he was very well surrounded where he was in Cleveland, but how did Tyrod do at Cleveland?
Again, but that's the thing is like they were 0-2, right? They were 0-2, and fans got impatient for the first overall pick. But I mean, that's going back to Cleveland, who hasn't won in 20 years.
No, but you get what I'm saying, right? But what does San Diego won?
I get what you're saying, but
what does San Diego won?
But if you look at Tyrod, I mean, they've been to the playoffs at least. They went to the AFC Championship game within the past 10 years. I mean, they've been a real team.
But in reality, have they won anything?
Let me ask you guys something. Okay. NFL draft's coming up. Do you guys have any particular any surprises you think is gonna happen? Like, you think Tua's gonna get drafted?
The Giants are gonna be able to trade down to 6, rob San Diego of a couple picks, a first this year, probably a second next year, and move down.
What do you think of the possibility of the Patriots possibly trying to trade up and grabbing a QB?
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
No, they are very, very, from what I understand, they are very high on Stidham. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
also,
they're
they're very consistent with taking quarterbacks in the later rounds, and it.
Well, we have Tom Brady there, for example, in the 6th round, of course.
Brady, Jacoby Brissett, and
Jimmy
Garoppolo too.
Right? He was the 4th round.
I think Jimmy G was actually, I want to say 2nd or 3rd, so it wasn't that late. But I mean, he's been very good. I mean, Ryan Mallett was a miss, but there's been guys where they're consistently not taking quarterbacks in the first, because I think Bill Belichick realizes that as good as Tom Brady is. That system that he produces is good enough, to plug and play a competent quarterback who can manage the game. So he doesn't need to wait. I'm not going to say waste, because the quarterback's an extremely important position, but if it's probably for him in his eyes more important to protect the quarterback or get someone on the D line to rush the quarterback rather than take a quarterback, the quarterback in the first round.
Tell me this, plug and play quarterback, but Sony Michel proved that he wasn't all that great last year. Josh Gordon's gone. Edelman's the true number 1. You don't have a real tight end anymore.
I mean,
it's tough.
If the Patriots are in a position, if they're gonna sit there and look at themselves in the mirror and say, "All right, it's time to rebuild," it's right now, because they lost a bunch of players. Ironically enough, to Miami during free agency.
Florida too. They lost Tom Brady to Florida.
I don't
not Miami, but obviously Florida.
I don't think that it's gonna make them justify taking a quarterback in the first round unless someone really falls and they're like, okay, let's trade up and back into the first round and take him with the 32nd pick, because that way they get the 5th-year option for him to keep him for a 5th year if they decide that they like him. But if they're as high in Stidham as they say, and the fact that they really don't take quarterbacks in the first round, and if they really do need to rebuild, then it would make more sense for them to take, someone that can protect the quarterback, and then next year's draft get Trevor Lawrence if they really want. Because I feel like it's just if they really don't feel like this, the whole rookie quarterback contract window to win the championship, if they don't feel like they have a roster to do that right now, then I feel like they would just either take.
See, that's how I feel about the Giants too, right? I don't see, the Giants defense is going to be trash with or without Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
So what's the point of taking Isaiah Simmons? So, you go down, you either trade for a lineman, you either trade down and you draft the lineman you want, I say you stay within the top 12 if you're going to trade down.
All right, guys, let's begin wrapping it up.
Yeah,
you guys have your final thoughts?
Top 12.
Yeah.
You trade down to the top 12. You stay within the top 12. You draft the lineman you want. I think all 3 or 4 top tackle prospects will be there within the top 15, and you take your guy and you gain assets. I think that's the only real option for the Giants is trade down and take a lineman.
I agree with that. Koosh, do you have any more final thoughts?
I stand by what Ian said. I agreed with that statement. I thought that
the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
What was it, Koosh?
The last thing you said.
All right, I appreciate it. No, I'll take it for it. I know he doesn't know. But you know what sucks?
You think I just say stuff?
I love watching the draft always, but the one year that, in months, the only thing we get to watch that has sports related is the draft, and the Bills don't have a first round pick. So
enough with your Bills. I want to hear you.
I want a camera. I want a camera in Dave Gettleman's living room, because it's going to be amazing to see him do a draft on a computer. The guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Honestly, guys.
A podcast with Brandon Bean, who was Gettleman's assistant in Carolina and now is a Bills GM, and he was saying that Gettleman does this shit on purpose to just throw people off, think he's an idiot. and he's actually just like a genius. Which I'm not saying he is, but like that's what
he fooled me. He fooled me. He fooled me. So
I hope.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think that plan, I don't think it makes sense, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this NFL draft. We're all gonna be watching it because nothing else is going on in sports really. So we're gonna be back with you guys next week to discuss our takeaways from the NFL draft. Really appreciate you guys tuning in to today. This, was a huge milestone for BTV, for Ballaholics, because this is our first live episode going live. Not that, we did our best. I just downloaded some editing software. So next time we're going to be a lot better, have some highlights for you guys, and also let you guys call into our show next time. So really appreciate you guys tuning in, and have a good one.
Well, we actually had like mad comments. I just looked at it.
Take care, people.
Later, fellas. Sammy, I'll talk to you later, brother.
Sounds good, man. Have a good one.
You too.